Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. How's everyone doing? So, this is going to be like a part two of, or maybe part three. I've done a couple of How to Marry a Provider series, a couple of videos on that topic, and all of them are linked in the description box. And I thought it would be really fun to kind of go into more of the energy work around how to get, first of all, marry someone that's a provider. And secondly, if they are already a provider, how can you inspire them to go the next level? Maybe your partner is only providing 60% right now to the capacity that they're able to, right? Like financially and container wise, and like being the shield and the structure of your family. So, what can you do to take them to the next level? That's what we're talking about today. Let me know in the chat that you're watching. Hi, Christian. Hi, Destiny. Welcome in, Maria. And how we can do this in a way that's not emasculating. Because a lot of times I see women trying to inspire their partners by constantly being at the complaint counter, by constantly sending out complaints. And it makes men feel really, really deflated. Like no matter what they do, it's never enough. And I certainly made that mistake early on in my marriage as well. So I know this firsthand, how that can be really emasculating and just really demotivating, right? Hello, Mina. Great to catch you live. I love watching your videos and already subscribed to your new channel. You are a role model. Thank you so much. Thank you, Erica. Welcome in, everyone. Queen. So yes, a quick announcement. I'm super excited about this. I do have a new YouTube channel. I decided to separate my content on like law of attraction, money, spiritual business, kind of like manifesting money, that sort of a thing, to a separate channel. That channel is called Million Dollar Babes, and it's listed in the chat as well as in the description box. It's also listed on my main page. This way, depending on my mood, if I feel like talking about inner work and relationships, I'll come here. If I feel like talking about money and like spiritual business stuff, I'll go to the other channel. So that will be, it's just going to feel really, really good. I've been wanting to do this for at least a year, and it's been on my heart. So I finally decided to do it. I've been guilty of that as well. Okay, awesome. Yes, of like saying the complaints. So the one first thing that I want you to know is that you will get the things that you desire from the least non-resistant or the most non-resistant source. So if you, for example, if you desire flowers and you have certain beliefs and limitations on where you can get it from, the universe will still try to get it for you if you really think you can get it from some source. And if that source is a non-resistant source, you'll get the flowers from there. So for example, I was practicing kind of like manifesting on a different level. And so I wrote in my journal that I was going to get a love letter and I was going to get flowers. And you guys know how I roll. It was like, I don't care where it comes from. And so I got flowers from two different sources. I got it from my brother-in-law brought me flowers. And I went to a restaurant with a couple of my girlfriends, and everyone ordered their food and their drinks. And I was the only one that the waiter like put a flower in my drink. And everyone was like, how come we didn't get a flower? For some reason, he just decided to put it in my drink and not anyone else's drink, even though we got similar things. And same thing with the love letter. My daughter wrote me a love letter. My husband wrote me a love letter. And I had bought this book that was just full of love letters. So it didn't matter to me where it came from. And a lot of times the mistake is that we think that our partner is the source and end all and be all of our desires, and we must get it from them. But of course we can't get it from them, and he will never give it to me. So we have all this duplicity, and then we walk around voicing complaints and not noticing the places where he is providing, where he is giving, and he feels like, what give? Like, I'm not appreciated here. And yet she's complaining here, here, and here. So it's like this vicious cycle that we can fall into. So I have seen my clients do this, friends and family do this. I have someone in my life right now that's doing this to their partner. First, their partner was paying nothing. And then their partner started paying. She was complaining. And I said, have you ever just tried like asking him to do this? and telling him why you need to without complaining. And she was very resistant to this idea, but she tried it, and then he started paying the rent. And then she was complaining about things that he's not paying. He was paying the rent. That never got acknowledged. But it was like, yeah, but that's it, right? That's all you're doing. So then he started paying one other bill and the rent. And then it was like, well, that's all you're paying? Well, what about the other stuff? So it was like just full of complaints. So then he started paying, long story short, the rent and like 3 other things, but all he's hearing is still complaints. Where's the, oh my God, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Being in the receiving end so you can inspire more. You can't inspire at the desire counter when you're standing at the complaint counter. Like, you're not going to get your desires met that way. It just doesn't work that way. Okay. Hi, Mina. I've subscribed to your new channel. Congratulations. Like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Now we have different flavors. Depending on what I'm feeling, I'll go here or there. Hi, Mina. I'm following you from France. I have leveled up so much already. It gets to be easy. Yes, Alice, it does. An energy of gratitude is necessary if you want the masculine to provide. Women want to feel safe and the masculine wants to be appreciated. Exactly, because the truth is, both men and women have masculine energy in them, right? And feminine energy. My masculine, my alpha energy, which I love my masculine energy, my alpha energy. I've spent decades cultivating it. I know I'm the same way. If someone's wanting me to provide something for them, they want me to be the masculine provider in this certain container, and they're just telling me all of the things I haven't done right and how it's never enough, I check out. I'm just like, bye. I don't have to do this. We're done, right? Because it's not worth my energy, because the masculine in all of us conserves energy. It wants to give its hard-earned energy in the places where it's truly appreciated. So my alpha goes into conserve energy mode too. I'm like, no, I don't want to give to this ungrateful person. I'm going to give to someone else. This is just how it is. If you think of an example in your life, if there's people in your life that like light up no matter what present you give them, like, you know that like it's going to be a hit with them every time because they appreciate you, the giver. They're receiving you. They're receiving your present with sheer joy in your heart, in their heart. You like giving to them. The other people, notice you give to them out of obligation, and you're going to half-ass it because it's out of obligation, right? I know that's what I do, because why am I going to waste my hard-earned money, energy on people that aren't going to appreciate it? Bye, right? So that's how the masculine thinks too. Most women have no idea how to communicate their desires. They communicate through complaints. That is not a desire, it's a complaint. The reason we do this is because we think deep down inside that we're not worthy of our desires. We think we're not worthy. So we just complain. The new channel is actually linked up in the chat and also in the description box. Let me see if no, I can't throw it in here. Sorry. I don't have it. But it's linked up on that chat. Can someone throw the link in the chat? Oh, wait, I don't think it'll let you guys do that. Never mind. Let me see if I can do it without messing this up. No, I can't. Thank you, Mina. Your advice is gold. I bought all your programs and I'm really enjoying them. I'm so glad. Joy, happy. When you do the inner work, you become a vibrational match with all that you desire, right? So what does that mean? That means you know how to communicate it. You know how to work through the limiting beliefs that are standing in the way between you and the desire. There's no duplicity. And so then when you approach people or the universe or whatever, you put it out there, there's multiple non-resistant sources that line up to give it to you. But if you believe deep down that you're not worthy of being provided for, you're going to communicate it in a way that will always be saying that more than the fact that that's what you desire. You're going to be saying why you can't have it. Every single word that comes out of your mouth is an affirmation. Either it's an affirmation for your desire or it's an affirmation against your desires. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Sorry. So every time you open your mouth, Are you going towards your desire, or are you going away from your desire? What are you really saying? Are you moving towards it or away from it? So one of the ways that I've done this in my life is if I desire something, I get really clear on it. I sit down in my journal and I write down, I desire this, right? Get really, really clear. The second layer is I imagine myself receiving it and I see what resistance comes up. How, if any funky feelings come up in me, anything that says that I can't have it. And then I work through the 6-step process, the inner work process, and work through it. Once I'm on the other end of it, I will affirm the new core beliefs that I want to be thinking that align me to that. If it's something that I need done, for example, if I need one of my boys to help me or my husband to help me, I will voice it as a desire, not as a complaint. So instead of saying, how come you didn't clean your room? You never clean your room, da 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 da. I just say, I love it when your room is really, really clean. It just feels so yummy and organized to me. I love it. So I'm voicing the desire, the end goal, the how I'm going to feel versus the complaint. I realized that I was blocking my hubby by not liking him working overtime or having a side business. I was unable to handle him being gone all the time. I did not like being alone. And that's the self-awareness, right? That's where the inner work starts. Heather said, yes, I felt like that with my kids lately. Now I'm wondering, oops, I lost the comment. I desire to date and have fun. Yes. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you. Oh, now I'm wondering what's up with me after my pattern interrupt. That's such a big point, that pattern interrupt. And the truth is, when we step back a second and get really clear on what it is that we desire, you might notice that the thing that you originally wanted wasn't the original desire anyways. So one of the things that I've done in my life to manifest money is I've separated money and the reason that I needed my husband to be a provider. So I didn't need him to be a provider because I couldn't manifest money, or I couldn't work and make my own money, or I can, do my own thing, provide for myself and my son. That wasn't it. I always knew that I was going to have lots of money. I just felt it in my core, in my bones. Like I knew it in my depth, in the depth of my being, that I was going to have money. And as in my previous marriage, that became a problem because he wanted to, sit back and help me be this female role model or a female breadwinner. So this time I knew that I wanted someone that was going to create that beautiful polarity with me, regardless of if I made money or not. He had my back. He was going to provide. He was going to be the masculine role in the relationship, and I was going to play the feminine role with him. That doesn't mean I'm not alpha in my business and other places, but with him, to create polarity, I was going to play the feminine role. He was going to play the masculine role. Because I knew this, I knew that a man feels most alive, most like himself, most at his masculine, at his best evolutionarily, psychologically, emotionally, when he's providing. So I gave him the opportunity. I allowed him to provide for me and my son. Not because I desperately needed him to, but because it was my feminine gift to allow him to provide for me and my son. And those things stayed separate, right? So when people say to me, I want $200 extra and he won't give it to me, that's not his problem. He's not your only source. God is your source. Source is your source. The universe is your source. He's just one non-resistance way that it's going to come. It can come in any other way. So for the first 9 years of my marriage, I was a stay-at-home mom, right? He was the only breadwinner. He was the only one bringing in money. And then I started my business 9 years into the marriage. And then I had all these other avenues of income as well. He still provides the things that the masculine provides. The main things, right? The survival things, the quality of life things, the things like food, shelter, the container setting, the parenting container setting, the financial container setting. But I have, I don't know, at this point, over 50 other avenues of income that come in, lots of them passive where I can't even remember. He's got it all organized and I can see it on my phone, but I don't even remember them off the top of my head. Because I am a non-resistant source for money, it can come from anywhere. So when you say he has to be the one that does it and the only way I can have money is through him, then that's you have one manifestation portal and now you're locked in and now he has to comply with you or you can't have money. Do you see the difference there? And I can have it from anywhere and I'm giving him the opportunity to be the main masculine container, to be the provider. And providing goes way beyond just money. It's the providing of the shelter, the container, the I've got your back, the outside foundation, like the structure of the house of the marriage, and I'm the yumminess inside. Okay. Mina, my husband pays all bills 100%. However, we don't budget, which stresses me out. Is it okay not to budget? He takes care of my wants too. I don't know if it's okay, but like, what do you desire? Do you desire to have a budget? It sounds to me like you're wanting more of that masculine energy container of money. Okay. So what I want you to get into is this self-sabotage, like a part of you that can't receive. So it's like wanting something more so you can't really accept this, or it's just a genuine desire to learn how to budget. That's two separate things. Sometimes we are in self-sabotage and we will find a way to say, well, I can't really enjoy this because XYZ. Then XYZ will happen and you'll say, well, I can't really enjoy this because ABC. That's self-sabotage. That's the inability to receive. When it's a pure desire, it comes from, oh my God, this is amazing. I receive all the providing that my beautiful masculine husband does. And wouldn't it be nice to also learn to set masculine containers? But you have to go and learn that first, or you decide that you learn as a couple together, and then you can learn to set those containers. But not because something's missing, but because wouldn't it be nice? That's different. Can you see the difference there? But sometimes we're in that energy of it's never enough because I don't know how to receive, because what I truly desire is also what I don't want. That's how the subconscious works. Whatever your emotional set point is of what you believe you can receive, you will not let yourself receive beyond that unless you consciously and intentionally do the inner work. You guys already know how I feel about the inner work. Okay. Hi, Mina. I have the fear that if I have a lot of money, people are going to love me because of it, not for me. So, okay, that's a core belief. So you use the 6-step process in the self-aware Barbie. No, not self-aware Barbie, basic babe bundle. And you say, does this belief feels really like it's expanding me when I'm thinking about it or contracting me? If I tap into that belief, it doesn't feel good to me. It makes me feel unloved, like I'm only going to be loved for my achievements, right? So I'm going to write that down and then I'm going to stab it and poke it and put an X on it. And I'm going to say, okay, well, what's a belief that feels better? So what belief feels better to me is that I get to have money and I get to be loved for who I am. Ooh, that feels good. I can tap into that. That feels good in my body. Okay, that's going to be my new core belief. Now I will recite that B until it becomes a part of me. And that becomes my new way of functioning. Then I allow myself to have money and love. Otherwise, with the old belief, you're walking around rejecting love because you're like, oh, they only love me because I have money. So reprogram yourself. So ladies, those of you guys that are just joining, I have a second channel now. I've separated my spiritual business content and money financial, like money financial stuff. And on my second channel, that channel is called $1 Million Babes. I've linked it in the description box of this video. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, subscribe there. On this channel, I will talk about relationships, polarity, inner work, things I usually talk about. But there, I want to do more like financial videos and like spiritual business videos. Doria said that feels amazing. Yes. So that's the process. So I explained the 6-step process fully in the Basic Babe bundle, and under those videos, I think lesson number 2, they're also listed out. So that way you can see the step-by-step process. I just practiced one with you, so you can get a little bit of a gist of it. But if you want the full thing, you can go there and get that. Okay. Mina, can we know if a date is a provider besides paying for an outing? So the best way to know something is knowing that you get to have it. So how I knew that every man that I was dating was a provider is because I knew that I was a vibrational match for a provider, that I was going to marry a provider. Otherwise, I wasn't going to get married. Okay. Not because I couldn't provide for myself. I already knew I was going to have a lot of money. That was certain. That was done. But what I had discovered through my experience was the best way to ensure that he wasn't going to turn into a predator or turn me into the breadwinner or whatever was that if he was a masculine energy man, a healthy man that knew how to provide and wanted to provide. So every man that I dated, I assumed that they were a provider because if they were in my field, they were a provider. And I believed it so fully that that's the only thing that showed up. If anything other than that shows up for you, then go back and do your inner work. Go back and affirm it more and affirm it more. Let that person fall away, affirm it more, affirm it more. What you believe is going to keep showing up for you. Relationships are basically the most potent inner work you can do. You will always attract your vibrational match, always attract your reciprocal. So if you think you are meeting predators when you're dating only, what's going on inside of you is my question, because that's how I work my inner work. If I was going on a date and the only people that showed up wanted to take advantage of me, my question wouldn't be, or my statement wouldn't be, what's wrong with these men? My question would be, damn, what do I need to work on? Girl, what's going on inside of me that this is what keeps showing up? And when you ask those real questions, everything changes. Everything changes. Because now you're not in the problem consciousness, you're in the solution consciousness. Oh, thank you guys. I'm so glad some of you guys are subbed to the other channel. Yay. Awesome. Yes, that's what started my inner work. The people I kept attracting into my life. Yep, Latrice, same here. The moment when I was like, what is up with me? That this is what keeps showing up in my field. That was the moment that everything changed. That was the moment where I woke up from the rock bottom, really. Because as much as I was in the, there's something wrong with everyone else, I couldn't heal because I didn't know I had a problem to heal, right? The minute I said, wait a minute, the common denominator in all these situations is this girl right here. What's going on? That's the moment everything changed. That's the moment. So if you go on a date and every single man asks you to split a bill and you tell me this, I know what's going on inside of you. That's why every single thing that comes out of your mouth is an x-ray of your insides to me. I can tell what your limiting beliefs are based on the questions that you think you're asking me. Because you're not asking me questions. You're revealing your limiting beliefs. That's what you're doing. Right? A real question goes out into the ethers and expands you so you can receive the answer. A question, a limiting belief disguised as a question abruptly ends. There's no answer to it because it just reveals your limiting belief. And we're at a standstill. We're locked in. You must change your beliefs if you want to change your life. You must. So whatever keeps showing up, if your partner won't provide for you, what's going on inside of you? What are your beliefs that you need to change? Why are you a vibrational match for that? Without blaming, do the freaking inner work. Do the inner work. I'm still doing the inner work. I want to go to the next level. I go back to the drawing board. Okay, what new beliefs do I need to adapt to go to my next level? So true. Your words are a reflection of your thoughts. Yes. Yes. I just did a bonus Q&A in the Modern Dating for Queens program, which is my rotational dating program. And I sent out a email to all the existing clients, existing students, asking them if they had any questions. And about 30% of them asked questions, and the rest of them sent me a list of all of their limiting beliefs with a question mark at the end. That wasn't a question. It was a limiting belief. I can't even answer that. My only answer of that is find the opposite expansive belief and recite it until you believe it. You can't answer limiting beliefs. You just have to change them. You just have to change them. Let's do an example of this because I think this will help you. I haven't thought this through, so let me think for a second. Okay, so let's say I'm at a restaurant and the waiter comes to me and the waiter goes, "What would you like to eat?" And I say, "I would love this hamburger on a gluten-free bun, please." Okay, the waiter knows what to do now, right? Okay, second scenario. I go to the restaurant and the waiter comes and says, "What would you like to eat?" And I sit there saying, "Well, I have a gluten allergy, so I can't eat this. And I definitely can't have this. And my mother said I can't eat this because this thing does this in my body, and this thing will provide this, and this will do this to me, and this will make me flip upside down." And the waiter is going, "What would you like to eat? What can I get you?" So a lot of people think that they're ordering something or asking a question by doing scenario number 2, and we're just like, what did you want? What do you desire? So learn to even ask elevated questions and send out elevated desires into the world, into the field, so that you can receive something of usefulness back. If you're ordering by just telling them all of your digestive issues, that's not ordering. That's declaring all of your problems. There's a big difference in how those two outcomes, right? Which one will get you a meal? In struggle mode, we like to overcomplicate things. Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Overcomplicating, overstruggling, that's self-sabotage. It's the lack of receiving. I think most problems are because of lack of receiving, the belief that we can't have it anyway, so we'll just might as well walk around complaining about it. Why actually desire? Because I can have it anyways. That's what's going on in your subconscious. So much true, Mina. Yay, Greta. So are you actually even sending out your true desires and letting go of the damn how? So some of you guys get so locked into the how. He has to do it. No, he doesn't. There's a bazillion ways to get the outcome. But what do you actually desire? What do you actually desire? What do you actually want? Work through that. When we're not clear on it, we will ask for something, the guy will do it, and then we'll say he didn't do it right, or that wasn't the thing, and then we'll complain some more, and then he'll try to do a different thing. It's like, well, that's not it either. It's so, you never get it right, and then he'll say, screw this, I'm going to just watch TV, check myself out, play video games, because this woman doesn't even know what she wants. She's hard to please. Conserve energy mode, switched on, guy checked out. You are so on point with this one. Clarity is key. Because if you don't even know, how do you even know when you receive it? How will you know? How will you even know that you've gotten the thing if you're not even crystal clear on it? I had a client years ago, and her husband used to work 6 days a week, and the only day off he had, he would help her do the groceries and help her cook and meal plan for the week, so she didn't have to cook because she had young kids. And she kept complaining to him, "I want you to take me out. I want you to take me out. You never take me out. You never take me out." So in the little bit of energy he had left, he used to work 12-hour days. little bit of energy that he had left after pretty much devoting the entire life that he had to her and the kids and providing, he took her to the mall. He was so exhausted after working a 12-hour shift, like actual labor stuff. He was like, I'll watch the kids, you go and shop. She was mad. She was so upset. She came on the call with me so upset. She's like, he took me to the mall. I'm like, that's what you've been asking, babe. Like, what is that not it? She's like, he just sat there with the kids and said, just go shop and do whatever you want. Like, but that's what you said. You never take me out. She's like, no, well, I wanted to like hold his hand and stroll around and like look it into each other. Well, that's not what you said, babe. That's not what you said. I didn't even know that's what you wanted. I'm your coach. What do you think he felt? What was his thoughts in that moment? That's what so many people do. That's what we do. I wouldn't be upset going shopping by myself. I know I wouldn't be there. I'd be like, bye, see you in a couple of hours. I know. He probably felt like underappreciated for sure. Like no matter what I do, she's not happy. Probably a lot of confusion, like Jody said, because it's like, I showed up, right? Like I brought you out. That's what you said. But she wasn't clear. She didn't take a moment to be like, well, what do I really want? I keep saying you never take me out. But like, what do I really want? That's what I do. I know you are right. You have to get clear on what the outcome is that you're desiring so you can communicate in a way that the masculine understands. Addicted to the struggle. Underappreciated, yes. Exactly. So we need to get clear first so that we can clear our own limiting beliefs around the thing, become a match for it by believing that we can have it so that we can recognize it when it actually shows up. Otherwise, we don't even know. We're just spinning our wheels for no reason. I know over my own inner work journey, the more and more I've become a vibrational match for money from all areas, the more money my husband has started earning. But I didn't say, you have to give it to me. You must do it. He would feel so emasculated from that. He's already providing, right? But I just became a vibrational match. And at every chance that he was a non-resistant source, it came through him. And it also came through all these other places. Money is money. I don't care where it's coming from. God's given it to me. I'll take it. Waste of energy for him. Exactly. Do you think he's going to do it again? No. Because the thought will be for him, she's not even clear on what she desires. Some of you guys think that the point of having a provider is that he's going to become your one and only source for money. Good luck with that. How has that worked out for us back in the early 1900s when the man was our only source of money? No matter what, we were beholden and pretty much property. So that's not the goal here. We are merging our evolutionary history, what we know in our elevated consciousness, how science has taught us how emotions work, how the male-female brain differences work, how polarity works, right? We're combining all of that so that we can all be our best selves and have a beautiful life experience together. Not because he's going to be your one and only source of money. Aubrey, I don't know. What do you desire? What do you desire? What do you want to do? Get really clear on that. Get really clear. Okay. So investing in those kind of things, babe, I'm going to be talking more about that on my other channel. This is more for relationship stuff. So Anam, this is a limiting belief, not a question. You've decided something already. So that's what it's going to be. What you're saying to me is actually a limiting belief, not a question. Okay, so if I was to ignore the first part of your question and just say, how do you build polarity? Inner work. So we vibrationally, and this is based on science too, okay? We attract and are attracted to the people that have to be healed in us. We talked about this in the Modern Dating of for Queens program. So we attract and are attracted to the person that has the wounds that we need to heal. So whatever you desperately desire, he can't give you. Whatever he desperately desires, you can't give him. And in healing the part of you that can give him that thing and he can receive the thing and vice versa, you both become whole. So the first years of marriage will always seem very difficult because of this, because you both have inner work to do. Initially, we're attracted, there's romance to those exact same wounds because we're excited that we're going to heal them together. And then the honeymoon phase comes and it's miserable. 85% of the honeymoon phase is miserable. In 85% of couples, the honeymoon phase is where a lot of arguments happen because you realize that the one thing you desperately needed or two things they can't give you. But that's the exact reason you chose them, so you can both heal. That's good news. That is the right person. So the things that I desperately needed, like real deep unmet needs, my husband didn't know how to provide those things. And the things he desperately needed, his deepest unmet needs from his parents, I couldn't provide them. Which means in learning to provide those things and receive those things, he healed and I healed parts of myself that couldn't provide that. Because if I can't provide it for him, I can't provide it for my kids. I can't provide it for you guys. I can't provide it for myself. So that's the beauty of relationships. They're worth so much more than even therapy. The real inner work, the deepest inner work happens inside of relationships because of this reason. That's why they're a place for spiritual growth. The deeper my husband and I have evolved in our inner work, where the more I work to give him his unmet needs and he learns to receive those things and expand his container, the more I also heal because that part was missing in me. That's why he chose me, right? And the deeper he works to give me the thing that I deeply desire, heals him because he's also learning to give things that he can't give. That's why I chose him subconsciously. So it's not your culture, it's your beliefs. I work with every single culture on the planet, and every woman that comes and says, my culture. Yeah, everyone else too. Every single woman says, in my culture. That's a limiting belief. Culture is very new. Human subconscious, millions of years old. It's not your culture. It's not your race. It's not your nationality. It's your beliefs. It's your beliefs. I'm hoping to bypass the misery by focus on inner relationship with myself. That will help a little bit, but you can't do all of your inner work outside of the relationship. This is why we can marry the most perfect person that seems very evolved, and then in our honeymoon phase, we're still fighting with them. Because there's still parts of you that you need to heal within the relationship too. That's why some people say, well, I'll do all my inner work and then I'll find a relationship. You can start your inner work. Of course, you should do the inner work. But you won't know how to practice that inner work and how it's going to merge with another person and how you're going to co-create within the relationship. And that's good news. I want to do the deeper level inner work with my partner. This is why the more I evolve, the more he evolves, even if I didn't tell him about this particular flavor of inner work. Because I change, my energy changes, my field changes, he must up level. I'm a match for new things now. He must. That was beautiful. That was the answer I prayed for. Thank you. You're welcome, babe. Yay. I love it when it sets. It just like locks in. I am not sure I understand the concept of container. What is it and how do you expand it? So I just added 2 more modules to the Self-Aware Barbie and the 21 Struggle. And the third one that I'm adding this week is called What is a Container? here, let me explain to you. So we all have an emotional set point for money, for love, for health. We believe that that's all we can have because our conditioning in childhood, right? So when we were born, we were all clean slates. In fact, we were such clean slates that if you took this baby and you put the baby in Japan, the baby would be speaking Japanese and would take on the belief systems of her Japanese parents and of her Japanese culture. And that would be her emotional set point. But if you took the same baby and put her in, let's say Latin America, right, she would mold into that environment. But if that person, that same Japanese baby, let's say she turns 25 and she moves to the United States, she could adapt new ways of being. She could say, oh my God, I really love this from my Japanese culture, but this doesn't serve me anymore. So I'm going to adapt like more of the American vibe here. I'm going to up-level my beliefs. So another way of saying this is there are people out there whose emotional set point is that I will never be in an abusive relationship. Never. Okay? But I'm willing to pay half. That's her emotional container. There might be another woman that's going to say, of course, abuse isn't even a thing. Of course, I'm not a match for that. I would never accept that. And I'm also not going to do 50-50. I want everything paid. That's her emotional set point. Another container, money. There are people that say that they can't earn more than $50,000. They will say things like, well, my job only pays this much. The type of education I have, I can never earn more than $50,000. That's just how much people in my field earn. Her emotional set point, her container is $50,000. To get her to earn $60,000, we need to expand her ability to receive her container. Let me give you another example. I like to give lots of them, even though they're random, because it helps you see it in a way that makes sense. Lottery winners, my favorite container example. So most people that play the lottery, like if you profile them, like if the FBI profiled them, there's like a certain level, right? They have certain things in common. So let's say someone wins the lottery for $5 million and they've never earned more than $60,000 a year. What do you think will happen? Their container is set at $60,000 a year, can't earn more than that, and now they have 5 million. So the container is this little, and this is the thing that goes in it. What do they start doing? It's called the curse of the lottery. 95% of lottery winners within 5 years go completely broke and wish that they had never won the lottery. They must get rid of the money. Some are lucky and they just spend the money. Other people use the money to destroy their relationships, destroy their health, get into debt, get on drugs, become alcoholics. They sabotage their lives. What happened? The rubber band of the container snapped. It was too much to handle, right? They didn't earn the money slowly, so it just kind of like. Now, another person, let's say they earn $60,000, that's their container, and they took my money course or my Millionaire's Play Shop, and they learned the process of actually expanding your container slowly. And so they were at 60,000, and in the next few months, they started earning 80,000. Their container slowly expanded. And let's say right when it expanded, they started getting fights into their husband, and I was like, you don't have to destroy another container just because, oh, right. I get to have it all. It gets to be easy. So then they keep doing the work. In 3 months, they go from 80 to 100,000. Okay. Then they hold that. Then they start eating and gaining weight. And I'm like, you don't have to destroy your health just because you're expanding this container. You get to have it in all areas. And they're like, okay, yes, right, Mina, you're right. And they keep doing the work and they go from 100 to 120,000, right? They didn't have that like $5 million kind of outburst and the container erupted. So they work slowly to expand their container. Same thing with weight loss. We all, if you're honest, we all have a range that we're willing to be comfortable with. I know me. I know my range. There's a number that's like the outer range. The minute I hit that number, I'm like, we've been eating out too much, blah, 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 la, la, la. Gotta reel it in. Because my container is that I get to be in this certain weight range. So to go beyond that, if I wanted to change something about that, I don't at this point, but if it did, I'd have to change that container. That's a container. It's your emotional set point. Makes sense, Naya said. Great. No, Elise. She said, are the Facebook groups and Patreon you mentioned in your courses, especially in the money course, still existence? No, babe. I got rid of all my Facebook groups. I got rid of my Instagram, and I'm just here and in my courses. I just streamlined the whole thing. It gets to be fun and easy. So no, sorry, I don't have those anymore. I always thought I need to be completely healed before attracting my husband, but now I see that's somewhat of a limiting belief because I will always be evolving. Exactly. My husband and I have the kind of relationship that most of my students, clients, family, and friends tell us that they've never even seen this level of romance, companionship, support, and love in a relationship, that we're their only example. And yet, we're still doing the inner work. Why? Because there is a maintenance of the container and there's always an expansion of the container. We want to go deeper too. That's what human beings do, right? We expand. The whole universe is constantly expanding and growing. That's so interesting. Using the lottery example, how does a single woman expand the emotional container in preparation for her divine union? So work through all of your previous relationship junk. I help you guys do this in the Container of the Divine Union course, the Call in Your Provider course, where you write out and bring up all of those beliefs and rewire them. Otherwise, you won't even let yourself get that far. So some people believe that they can get the relationship, but then it's going to be miserable afterwards. That's what they get. So through the inner work, they have to learn that they get to have the man and it gets to be fun. You can have both. So at any given time, people will reveal their containers to you. Some women can go on multiple dates, but they will never get the ring. Container issue. Some women will never even get to the first date. The guy will just invite them for a booty call. Container issue. That's their container. Some people will get the eviction notice, but never get evicted. That's their container. Some people will never get an eviction notice. They'll be 5 days late, but they'll always pay. That's their container. We all have emotional set points of what we will allow and what we will stand for. If you want to change something, you have to expand the container. Okay. So keep expanding that container. And it's not like I have arrived. It's going to be constant work. Can I be really honest with you guys of what happened to me yesterday? So, okay, I hadn't processed this, so maybe I shouldn't be sharing it now, but let me just share it with you guys. So you guys know that we're in the middle of this huge remodel in my house. So my dream 20 years ago was to own a home and own it outright, have no mortgage, become a multimillionaire. And I achieved all those things. And then I was going the next level and I realized that I achieved a house that I like and I own it. But I would also like it to be my dream house. Like I needed it to look a certain way. But in my mind at that time, my container was just have a house and this is what it needs to have, certain things, non-negotiables, and pay it off. I didn't have the delighters, right? And I came to a point where I was like, I want this, this, and this, and this, and this, just because I do, just because I get to have it. Those are the delighters. And then my husband and I started remodeling the house. And the more work that's being done, the more the house is looking like it's like out of my dream, like even better than I imagined. And so that's happening. I'm at the height of like enjoying my business and just having so much fun with you guys, just loving it. My parenting is at the best that it's ever been. My friendship, we went through, a couple of my friends and I, we went through like these really difficult conversations a few months ago, and we're at like the height of our relationship with each other. I'm feeling really good in my body. And then I could hold all of that. I could, okay? I'm holding all of that. My income like skyrockets to the highest. I had my highest month ever last month. So right when that happened, I'm like, okay, this is feeling so good. I get to have it all, right? And then 2 days ago, the day before yesterday, my husband pulls me into the bedroom and has the deepest level of conversation that we've ever had. Like, we've had really deep conversations of, he's just like, I want to be more vulnerable with you. I want to go deeper with you. You know, this is the most loving relationship that I could ever even have imagined. I feel so good. And I'm like, yay. Like, he's saying all this stuff to me. We're holding hands and we're like crying tears of joy. So that was the day before yesterday. Yesterday, I woke up feeling like I was going to have a panic attack. Okay. I was having trouble breathing and I'm like holding it together. And the contractor calls me down and he's like, look at your bathroom. And the bathroom turns out even better than I thought. And now I'm just like, right. And my husband's like, you okay, babe? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So I sat down in my journal. And I started like, what is going on, right? And I'm like, oh my God, Mina, I'm having a container problem. Like, this is too good even for me. I can't handle it. I had to sit there and work through the stuff, the same stuff I teach you guys. The same stuff. Okay. And luckily I had 3 coaching sessions yesterday. I did this in between session 2 and 3. And when I got on the 3 session, my client is like, you are my soulmate coach. Like, I feel like we're in the same soul family. Like, I love you. Like, you've changed my life. And I'm like, if I had gotten on this call before I had done that little stuff in the journal, she would have thrown me over the edge. I would have probably had a full blown like panic attack from all of the joy that's just like all piling on. I do this work every day, and I had that moment yesterday. I had to expand my container yesterday. At midnight, I woke up, like I had fallen asleep at like 10:30. At midnight, I woke up wanting the need to do this third eye meditation that I do. And I was like, whatever you need me to do, Spirit. I sat there at midnight doing the meditation, woke up today perfectly fine. My husband brought me flowers and it was just like, okay. So I'm still doing the work because there's new levels. There's new levels. It just got like piled on. And I think the thing that threw me over the edge really, I mean, it was definitely the conversation with my husband, but even before that, it was the house turning out even better than I thought. Because somewhere in my subconscious, it's like, wait, you're going to get to have a paid off house and it's going to look like, it's like from your dream, like, Mina, like, what's going on over here? That's too good to be true. Like, people like you don't do this stuff, right? That was the stuff that was coming up in my journal. I still do this work, okay? I still do this work, the same stuff that I ask you guys to do. Was it an overwhelming awe? Yes. And it's like, it was happening. It was like layered on, right? Having the highest month ever, getting the most testimonials ever, getting the most love messages from you guys. My kids are now going to the next level. Well, friendships are always going to be a little off. Then my friends' resort stuff that we've been kind of holding back. It's like, right? And then it's like, there came a place where there were just like this anxious energy in my belly. And I had to sit down and go like, what's going on, Mina? You're having a container issue. You're having time to expand. Thank you for sharing these examples from your life. Very insightful. I guess inner work is for life. It is if you want to keep expanding. Like I'm sure there's a point where you can be content and happy, and that's you. But the way that I understand the universe and the way I understand quantum physics and the way we're expanding, I have a desire to keep growing. I just do. It doesn't come from a seeking or like I'll be happy when. It comes from I'm so blissfully happy now. And wouldn't that be nice? That's where it comes from. Good afternoon, dear Mina. I'm doing my inner work and ecstatic, happy about my new mental talk. Just that is happiness. Yes. Inner work never ends. You're right. Yep. Wow, that is so amazing. I'm so happy for you and so grateful for the hope you give me. Makes me think of Prince. Let's Go Crazy. Oh, is that a song? I'm pretty sure I've probably heard it. I'll have to go back and listen to it. Yeah, so my husband and I still do the container work. We joke around about it too. We're like, you're having a container problem. Like yesterday, my husband did something really sweet with me, like for me, like he does a million times a day. And I said, thank you. No response. So I waited a couple of minutes because I'm like, oh my God, he can't receive this right now. It's too, like, he's experiencing the same thing I'm experiencing, right? 5 minutes later, I'm like, babe, thank you so much. I'm so happy. No response. He looked straight at me, no response. Okay. And then he was going to give me a kiss and go downstairs. And when he came in to give me a kiss, I was like, come over here. You are having container problem. Did you receive my appreciation? And he's like, yes, I heard you. I receive it. Thank you. It took him a minute to even let that absorb in. If I was coaching us, I'd say you both are having a little bit of a container issue. This is a next level. But we are aware of it, so we expand it together. My kids walk around saying, that's a container issue. I'm having a container issue. She's addicted to suffering. That's a container issue. And it's teaching them how to expand that. We get it because we have container issues all the time too. How can you have the childhood that I had and not have a container issue, right? Like, duh. People like me aren't supposed to have all of this based on my cultural beliefs. I've defied all of that. So I need to keep expanding my container too. Hannah, get a coach. Do the work. Do the work, honey. Do the work. If you need a breakthrough, go get a therapist, go get a coach. Like, get in that container. Mina, how do you deal with the hyper awareness that comes with inner work? Ooh, I love it. Meta awareness. We love it as a family. We love it. It feels like time expands and it's kind of like slow motion. Okay. So can I share something? Jody, I have to share this with you. So my husband and I were talking about this the other day. And you know how I tell you guys, I've said this before many times, that when you have information, it's in your conscious awareness. But when it's embodied, it's in your unconscious awareness. So my husband said something 2 days ago when we were having this discussion. And I was like, oh my God, you just expanded on this thing I always say, could you please text it to me? So he texted it to me. I think this is actually a known thing. I'm not sure if he made this up, or I'm sorry that I'm not going to be giving credit. I heard about this from my husband. So he said there's 4 stages of teaching. He said the first stage is unconscious and unable. Unconscious and unable. Basic babe. When he was saying that to me, I'm like, that's the basic babe. She doesn't know what she doesn't know, and she's unable to do it. There's no embodiment. Basic babe. Stage 2, can someone type this out for us, please, in the chat? So stage 1, basic babe, is unconscious and unable. Stage 2 is the self-aware Barbie, conscious and unable. She knows, she's got the information down, but she can't do it. She'll tell you about it. She'll spit it out. She'll argue with you about it in the comments even. she can't do it. She's not embodied. That's the self-aware Barbie stage. Okay? Stage 3, conscious and able. Conscious and able. Jody, what you just asked me right now, let me read Jody's thing again. Mina, how do you deal with the hyper awareness that comes with inner work? What she's referring to is this hyper awareness where you know the thing and you're able to do it, but it takes a lot of effort still. So that stage 3 is where you've entered the $1 million babe realm. And that's the conscious and able. So you're able to do it, but you have to tell yourself and watch yourself and supervise yourself doing it. That's the $1 million babe. The high-end divinity, the final stage, is unconscious and able. You are fully embodied in it now. Okay? Of course, these are continuums. Keep that in mind. Unconscious and able means it's you. You don't have to talk yourself into it. You don't have to supervise it. It's embodied in you. It's part of your cellular DNA. It's part of who you are. You don't have to think about it. When we're in conscious and able, that meta awareness sometimes drives us nuts, because this is when women are the hardest on themselves. Because oftentimes you'll mess up and then you'll say, oh, I should have known better. Why can't I get this right? Because you're still having to think and like babysit yourself through it. You have to be patient through this. You have to be patient. I talked about this in the Sacred Feminine Intensive. It's when the awareness has awakened, but the embodiment isn't there. So it's like your baby stepping your way. I remember this stage because I would say, don't say this to him. Don't say this to him. And then I would watch myself saying it to him. And I would be like, what was that? Why'd you do that, right? So then I would say, okay, hold on. Forgive myself. Next time I'm going to notice it and I'm not going to freaking open my mouth. And the next time I may catch myself halfway through saying it. Okay, improvement. Because it's not unconscious and able yet. It's not fully embodied. I'm not in stage 4. Jody, oh, I knew it, babe. I knew it, babe. She said tears, Mina. Yes. Yes. This is the part where women need the most compassion. A lot of my clients that I work one-on-one are in this stage. They know what they're supposed to be doing, and they do it about 50% of the time. And then they beat themselves up the rest of the time. But it's like, babe, you did that thing for 30 years. Can you give it 30 days to get embodied? Right? 30 months even? Okay. Thank you so much, ladies, for typing that out. I'm going to copy that later and I'll put it in the chat box for you guys. Just so when he said this, I'm like, oh my God, those are my stages. Like, yes. So that meta awareness, I enjoy it. There are some things where I'm in stage 3, but here's why I still enjoy it. Because when I'm in stage 3 with something where it's like conscious and able, I tend to talk about it more, but during that process, I've noticed that my children will take on that thing and they'll start practicing it. So I'm like, okay, well, this is serving a purpose. I might be a little bit self-aware, Barbie, right now because I keep telling them about it, but they're learning from it and they're helping me keep accountability. Like the other day, I think this was yesterday, our mom was like, Mom, you've used the word coma to describe how you're feeling after eating like 3 times in a row. He's like, that's a negative word to be using every day. I'm like, oh, yes, you're right. Sorry, right? He's keeping me accountable. I give myself our hugs at those moments. Yes. Yes, I energetically kind of feel that with my clients too. Like, I just want to be like, babe, you're doing so good. Can we just celebrate you for a second? Because I know how it feels to be in that stage where you're just like, why did you say the thing? Mina, I love this. Totally love this. Truly high understanding. Oh, yes. Grace, Heather. Yes. Yes. That is grace. This is a beautiful way to put it. Tellerfon, we said thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you. I even told them, I was like, you have to come on the channel and talk to us about this. To me, when he was saying it, I was instantly hearing Basic Babe, Self-Aware Barbie. Like, it was just like beautiful. I feel I'm on stage 3. How can I get to stage 4? Practice, 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 time. Time, repetition, practice. Time, repetition, practice. Practice, repetition, give it time. Keep doing the thing. Okay, so yes. So those of you guys that are just joining, I actually have a new channel. I'm actually going to go live in there for a little bit just to kind of like kick it off. I think I'm allowed to live stream in there even though it's a new channel, so I'm not sure. Hopefully. So I have already. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me here. You can subscribe to the other channel. It's linked in the description box. It's called The $1 Million Babes, and I'll be live in there for a few minutes. Give me like 5 to 10 minutes to figure out if I'm even allowed to go live in there. I didn't check. And that channel is going to be more about spiritual business, finances, the energy of money, that sort of thing. So money, manifesting, business. Okay, thank you so much. Bye. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you on the other channel maybe in a little bit. Bye, guys. Love you.